Lamashal, Ezer Roishem Asasa Bias Moshe Rabbeinu v'Aaron HaKohen Yisrael b'Psuras HaGeulah b'Mitzrayim. What incredible effect did it have? And it was wild. When you can imagine when Moshe Rabbeinu and Aaron came to Mitzrayim. What were the conversations that were happening in all the Jewish homes? And we know V'Yaldi Yisrael Pichim Hatamimim. Did they not have any questions? Were they not like suddenly interested, going like, "Wow, we're about to go out from slavery into redemption"? Like, how's that going to happen? After leaving Mitzrayim, the Torah warns us and says, "Hey, you got to listen to the questions of your children. You got to listen." Give me one sec. So, like, and the Torah even tells us and says, "Hey, when you come out of Mitzrayim, ki yishalcha, when your kids are going to ask you, and they're going to turn to you, they're going to say, what happened? Why are you doing all this? What did Hashem do?" You have to, the kids are always asking good questions, and Hashem says that's the whole story of Mitzrayim, is you got to be able to answer them. The story of Pesach. But the truth is in Mitzrayim itself. What about then? Did the kids not then have great questions? Ubetach. Gam oz kipchu es areim b'sheil. For sure, the kids are harassing the parents. And think about it right now. How many kids are asking their parents what's really going on? What's happening? And kids are scared and they're worried and they're unsure. What's this whole story? And you don't think in Mitzrayim they were asking these questions to their parents? And for sure, there was these things. There was definitely experiences that were happening then. But because the Torah or the midrashim didn't tell you exactly what happened in every house, you, me, every one of us should begin to visualize in our mind and in our imagination the thought processes and the imagination of a Jew. It's not just simple visualization. According to the path that it's done in the Torah midrashim, but you have to visualize it in your mind along with this and open it up. So now we're going to jump in and we're going to open it up a little bit. Mitzrayim made their lives really bitter. The Chevra in Mitzrayim, they didn't need just buildings to be built. It wasn't just that they were looking for great structures. They knew that they were putting them in Pisim and Ramses, which was a very tough place to build, because they wanted specifically to enslave and to really pain the Jews. All the works, the midrashim tell us all over how all of their avodah was there to really break the Jews. The life of a Jew in Mitzrayim was considered worthless, more worthless than in the lives of any animals. And we know that the Medrash Rabbah tells us how they would send the Jews out to go and try to trap all sorts of wild animals, and they didn't care. A Jew dies, big deal. It's cool if we can get a lion, if we can get a tiger. And even in Mitzrayim, Gevalt, their lives were completely worthless. Every Mitzri, no matter how foolish, no matter how brainless, no matter how simple, they would have no problem beating elderly, beautiful Yidden. Mamish just hurting them, breaking them. And even if the Jew was Mamish a strong guy, there was no way. You had to bear the brunt of the pain. Because who's going to dare raise their mind? Like these Egyptians, they just 1 second they could shoot you, just like the Nazis. It was just like if you raise your head the wrong way, boom, they'll shoot you. You're going to be broken down. Havanas Chachmalai, the Torah says, day and night, every moment, every time, things are just getting more and more intense. And the truth is that there was so much. The Yetzer Hara was trying so hard to get us, to break us, to destroy us. Hamatzriim leZachras galus Yisrael. The Mitzrayim didn't remember and weren't aware of the greatness of the Jews, v'chi b'nei melachim heim, that were truly princes. V'gam b'nei Yisrael megoydel tzaraseim. And also the Jews themselves, because of their incredible pain, es atzmam v'es rucham ha'atzil shakhu vayu la'avadim nishbarim shvelim. We ourselves, we lost that belief within ourselves that we were actually worthwhile, and we ourselves became slaves. We became broken. We became low. And it's true of where we're at today. In so many ways, we've lost that self-belief, that self-worth, that we understand how special we are. But the truth was that even for a Jew that was able to, in his home, have a moment of Yishuv Adas, Gewalt, he remembered how special he was for a few moments. We know that I think this is from an Avos Reb Nassan, that the Jews, they had these scrolls, they had these little notes written from the Avos that the mamash, that the Avos told them, don't worry, you're going to be saved. And on Shabbos they would sit around telling stories of the Zaydas and Babas of the Avos and the Imais in Mitzrayim. It's wild that they kept Shabbos in Mitzrayim. And they would also read over these things. And for sure, when they would read them, for sure we would have these moments of like feeling like like a little bit of fresh air, like almost like us. I'll tell you, sometimes, the weeks that go on, even leading up before the virus, but like sometimes you're so busy during the week and you're running, and even when it's Avodas Hashem, but you're running, and finally on Shabbos you pause and you go, I could feel a little bit, I can breathe a little bit, I can feel a little bit of what it means to be a Yid. But Gevalt, it's been a long galus, and in Mitzrayim they were feeling this strong. But when the Jew would step outside, when a Jew would step outside and he would see these Egyptians, these low lives, and they would be like making fun of the Jews, looking down on the Jews, and like you can almost hear them, and they're just cursing at us, and you just walk out and you're like, seriously, this is Geulah. And of course, even Sunday morning or Monday morning, whatever it is, when you heard the Egyptians screaming, get out of bed, and howling, get to work, that strength of spirit would just melt inside every Yidla, and his neshama would just like disappear. And once again, we're left with being a broken Jew. They believed deeply that Hashem was going to save them, but the challenges of the pain of the slavery was so bitter that was in front of them that they couldn't even begin to really appreciate the beauty of the upcoming Geulah. Gewalt is like a whole nother world. It's like we're here now, but we can't even imagine a world living on another level of perception. Even their hope for the Geulah, mamish, like sometimes disappears when you're feeling really low. You're not even like, I don't even want Olam Haba. I don't even want Mashiach. I just want things to be okay. And mamish, it's like a whole nother world where there's a world of actual Geulah. Right now in this world, Para is the king, and I don't see he's not being dethroned. The Egyptians are the masters, and we are just a disgusting, destroyed nation. Broken of spirit, broken of body. And who's going to stand up in these things? Gewalt, who's going to be able to stand up? And the amazing thing is that the Jews, they were filled. They had Emunah, but they also had Yish. Not because they had a lack of Emunah did they have Yish, but it was because of a broken spirit. They just, you can mamish believe in Hashem, but if you don't believe in yourself, then your mamish, there's nothing to believe in. And for a person to really believe, you have to mamish be a real person. You have to have a ruach that can breathe, that can open. But Gewalt, by the Jews in Mitzrayim, the essence of every one of them was just broken, was just melted. It was just something broken. You looked into the eyes of a Jew in Mitzrayim and you just saw that they were broken. Many ways that this is mamash how it looks. You look into the eyes of somebody who's broken, bearing the weight of the galus, or the weight of their averis, or the weight of their pain. And sometimes people just look broken. And so they believe in Hashem, but they don't believe that they're there. And for sure, they had moments, like we said before, of Shabbos, of breaking out. But Gewalt, as soon as the pain strengthens up again, they would fall right back into it. as like the Torah says, "V'lo shamu," they couldn't hear, they couldn't really open themselves up to hearing, because of the shortness of breath and the hard avodah that we're in. And all of a sudden, in the middle of all this, Moshe and Aharon show up. And Gewalt, the sound of Hashem's voice, you could even hear it echoing in the voices of Moshe and Aharon. Pakoit bakadati eschem. I'm going to take you out of Mitzrayim. I'm going to bring you to Eretz Yisrael. And even the simple people without, that were lacking the spirit and the belief, Gewalt, it wasn't possible that they weren't able to be lit up by these words. And they see Moshe Rabbeinu is talking to Hashem, and he's doing these osos, and everything's happening. Gewalt, like even it was like a brilliance. And they began to schmooze with each other. There begins to be a buzz of excitement. Is Mashiach really going to happen? They begin to talk one with the other. They begin to schmooze. They begin to smile. A guy comes home to his house and he turns to his wife and his kids. He says, Chevra, you won't believe it, but Mamash, Mashiach's coming. Mashiach's really happening. I just saw Moshe Rabbeinu in the street, and they're talking and they're saying, and Moshe's saying that Hashem's going to take us out. And he begins to say, who knows what it's going to be like? We're going to go to Eretz Yisrael. We're going to have our own land. But within all the fear that's underlying all this little bit of chatter and happiness, a kid cries out to his father and mother, Abba, Ima, how is it possible that we're going to be able to leave Mitzrayim? You don't think the Mitzrayim are going to beat us? Abba, don't you remember just a few weeks ago when you didn't get up and that Mitzri came in and he beat you? It was weeks that you were sick, hanging between life and death. Don't you remember how many nights we were up because of your moans and your tears? I'm scared, Abba. And of course, the father, who so desperately wants Mashiach and he so desperately wants the Geulah, yells at his kids and goes, how could you say such a thing? You know that Hashem could do anything he wants. He could take us out of this right now. What do you think? And the kid bursts into tears and he keeps on asking. He goes, how is it possible that Hashem didn't save us until now? Look at we've been through Holocaust. We've been through Spanish Inquisitions. We've been through so much. Where has Hashem been now? Don't you remember what those evil people did to my friend? He was a neighbor in the building, and his father didn't fill his quota of the day, and they dragged that kid out. And as they took him and they shoved that little boy into the wall, and because they couldn't finish up, and his mouth was stuck out of the wall, and he was screaming for anybody to come save him. He was screaming for his father to save him, for us to save him. He goes, I wanted to go trade places with him. Abba, where was Hashem then? Why didn't Hashem take us out? Why is Hashem letting people die right now? And if not for mommy dragging me back to the house, I was going to scream and run there, and I probably would have been killed by the Egyptians as well. Where has Hashem been all the times that we've been suffering? Why didn't Hashem have mercy on us? And the kid's crying, mamish. Deep, deep tears. And his mother grabs him. Obviously, the women, the holy women of Mitzrayim, the holy Jews, the Nashim Tzidkanios in Mitzrayim, and she grabs the little boy, sobbing, and she holds him and she kisses him and she says, I want you to know, my dear son, listen closely. Please, please don't cry. You remember when you first started talking, we taught you Shema. We taught you that Hashem is the one. He created all the oceans and all the rivers. He created the Shemayim and the Aretz. Everything he did the way he wanted, and nothing is hidden from him. Nothing is hidden under the ocean. Nothing's hidden over here. And Hashem created us, and we don't understand everything. Hashem is infinite, and we're finite, and it's hard. We can't really understand what Hashem's doing over here. And what do we want? We're just people. But Hashem is really much bigger, and he has a bigger plan for us. And even with all the wisdom in the world, we couldn't even understand Hashem. I want you to see, my dear son, Hashem fills the whole world. There's no corner. There's no place. Even now that we're talking, and I'm holding you close to my chest, and I'm telling you these things, Hashem's listening to us right now. Hashem's here, and even though we don't see him, he's within me, he's within you. There's a holiness to us. I know that it doesn't look like it. It looks like we're slaves. It looks like we're slaves to our Averos. It looks like we're slaves to Mitzrayim. It looks like we're slaves to the whole world, but it's not true. And I want you to know, my dear son, that you are special. You're part of the B'nai Hashem. And Bezrat Hashem, you're going to be able to be so happy with your Avodah. I want you to know, my dear son, that there's going to come a time when they're going to look back at us, that there are going to be years and years, thousands of years of history, when people are going to look back and they're going to imagine this conversation that we're having right now between you and me, my dear son. And they're going to imagine what was it like for the Jews in the moments before Mitzrayim. And I want you to know that in those times, not only the Jewish people, but the slavery throughout the world, there's going to be the Africans being enslaved in America, and they're going to use our story as a story of hope, because Hashem is going to take us out. And we need to imagine now, we need to visualize now, what's it going to be like when Hashem does pull us out? Because he's going to. He promised that he's going to take us out, and he will. And this story that we're having, this epic story that we're experiencing right now, they're going to look back and they're going to say, I wonder what it was like as they were going through those final years of galus in Mitzrayim, those final years of galus until we mamish had the Geulah Shlema. And you could imagine the incredible amazement that this little child is going to be listening to as he hears, that this child is going to feel as he hears from his mother that this story, that this experience that we're having right now is going to be so meaningful to people later on, and when they look back on it, they're going to see the value of it, and that this is going to be just a part of the story, but it's going to be one of the most amazing geulas of all time until ours, Bezrat Hashem Bekarov. Gewalt, these children, their eyes open up. Their bodies begin to shake. They begin to cry out. They become alive, lively children, not slave children, but children that will very shortly be B'nai Chorin. And the kid goes out of his house, wiping his tears away with a smile and a shine beginning to come across his face. And he begins to tell his friend, he says, it's really going to happen. This really is going to happen. We're really going to make it out. And we don't understand it, but we're going to make it out. And the kids begin to gather together and they begin to schmooze about it more and more. And the murmur begins to get even stronger. And suddenly the ruach, the kotzer ruach, the avodah kasha, begins to slip away. The mask of the physical reality, of the pain of galus begins to slip and begins to shake and begins to tremble, and people begin to peek out from behind it. Oid heira para lehara Yisrael, l'maras chayim, v'shuv gzeira ra chadasha gazar. But even after all that, Gewalt, and even more, Paro increased the pain, increased the avoda, increased the slavery. The galus gets even tougher. Sometimes we find ourselves getting enslaved even more as we get a breath of fresh air, imagining the Geulah, but yet we fall back in again. B'shuv b'nei Yisrael mismarmarim, and once again, our thoughts and our feelings and our emotions begin to go again. Oh no, we're not going to make it out. How is this actually going to happen? It's never going to be. And Gewalt, Kiyesha Yisrael mukim va'achzar rasha id moiseflis achzaras hakos v'layadu ki ha'geula kvar eschila. And sometimes, as it happens and gets closer and closer to the end, and Gewalt, they didn't realize that the Geulah is mamash already happening. We're sitting here all in our own homes, and sometimes it's hard to see that this is mamash the Geulah as it's breaking forth. V'shuv hika Hashem espari negoim gedolim v'bnei Yisrael masifin lahamin b'Hashem v'l'shtekikin. But they begin to see more makos coming, and the Jews begin to have a breath. Maybe it is going to happen. V'hinei leil shimurim ba, and behold, the night of Pesach approaches. Hein oidem b'Mitzrayim. It was a night that they were still in Mitzrayim. Avalei avodim v'lei shivrei ruachim. But they were no longer slaves, and they were no longer broken spirits. Es pischeim oichlem. They began to eat the carbon Pesach. Na'aleim biragleim, makleseim bi'edeim, hachin ligal. And there they were, with their shoes on their feet, sticks in their hand. They're ready to walk out. I'm ready to walk out. Hashem, I'm ready. Kvar Armim Halal, and even in Mitzrayim, they're already singing Halal. They're singing songs and thanks to Hashem for all the nizim that He's done for us. Gewalt, who could have even thought that Hashem would actually be listening to us? And from all the windows of the Jews, you begin to hear singing, Haidel Hashem Kitayv Kilaylam Chastai. And suddenly, from the streets, they heard a scream, a wail, a moan, and they hear a scream, Mikan Moshe, Mikan Aharon. Where's Moshe? Where's Aharon? What's going to... And suddenly, the kids get afraid again. They begin to tremble, and they cry out to their parents, Abba, Mommy, they're coming. They're going to take us. It's not going to happen. We're not going to make it out. We're going to be stuck. Our thoughts begin to tremble again, and they tremble inside of us. And we go, that's it. Is it really going to happen? We're not going to make it out. They're coming. They're going to kill us before we make it to morning. Don't worry, kids. It's going to be okay. Don't be afraid. The parents turn to them. It's not the evil people that are crying out to you. They're not going to hold you anymore. It's Pare coming with his officers. They're scared. The Yetzer Hara is beginning to tremble. The Klipa is crumbling. And they're beginning to recognize, and the Klipa and the Yetzer Hara is beginning to realize, Gewalt, that it's almost over. And they're running around. They're trying to find Moshe and Aharon. Don't worry. You're going to see my kids. You're going to see Hashem. Just hold. It's going to happen. The kids couldn't even hold themselves back. They're jumping. They're dancing. Spinning around. Is it going to really happen? It's going to really happen. We're going to make it out. And this fluctuation between galus and Geulah, these moments between jubilation and fear are happening all night long. But for the most part, in the land of Goshen, the night before Geulah, there was Ira, there was light, there was happiness. Even the Malachim in Shemayim were happy with them. And they said, Baruch Hashem Elokei Yisrael. And Hashem himself was happy with them. And because from the Shira and the Zimra, Gewalt, the Jews, with that, that's how we left Mitzrayim. That's how we will leave this galus. It wasn't just a walking out of Mitzrayim. They were dancing. They were skipping with Hashem. There was Amud Anan and fire and Moshe Rabbeinu and Aaron and the Zikanim, and they were singing Hallel, Gewalt. That's how it was. B'tzeis Yisrael mi Mitzrayim. Halalu avdei Hashem, v'lo avdei Parai. They were finally becoming to their true selves, being servers of Hashem and not servers of the Klipa, being able to be released to truly be in Hashem's, to do Hashem's avodah, and no longer to be stuck in the Avera, stuck in the Klipa. Hodel Hashem kitayv. The whole world began to experience a new reality. The umos of the world, the nations of the world, were asking, who are these people? The mamish that are coming out. What is this encampment that mamish, that their faces are lit up with a fire, with something beyond? What's going on? What's with the Jewish people? We thought that they were just a destroyed nation, but look, they're mamish breaking out. Gewalt. They're mamish, they're the holiest of souls. They're the B'nai Hashem. Gewalt. And you know what's amazing about these Jewish people? That even when their pains, and they went through so much galus for the last 2,000 years, and in Mitzrayim, and their faces were blackened, and we couldn't recognize them, and Gewalt, that soul that they had inside of them, gave way to seemingly low behavior. And when they were in pain, Gewalt, Gam Sham Hashem Avim Amalkam, their God, their Father, Hashem Elokei Yisrael, Gewalt, he was there with them. He was with them throughout all of history, even as they were suffering in death camps, and even as they were suffering through every generation, through every galus, through every pain. Hashem was with them every step of the way. And now that Hashem is finally saving them, Gewalt. The shame of Hashem, look how great Hashem is. And the nations of the world recognize, and the nations of the world will recognize once again what it is to be a nation of Hashem, what it is to be the nation of Jews. Yakiru v'yedu kol yeshvei sevel she'Hashem Elokeinu Hashem echad, u'mi ka'amcha Yisrael goy echad ba'aretz. Gewalt. I think that the core of what we would like to it's going to happen for us. And we need to imagine what it was like back then. And we need to recognize that these conversations that we're having with our children right now, that we're having with our thoughts right now, our struggles to break free, our struggles to open our minds, our struggles to be able to leave behind the false selves that we've become and being able to allow our true self to break free wasn't easy then. It wasn't just this beautiful, miraculous Geulah. It was a Geulah of Mitzrayim that mamash changed us. Excuse me. That we were able to become what we needed to become. We were able to transform. And Chevra, all the thoughts when we get bombarded, and whether it's because maybe we read some things that freaked us out or we heard something, just know this is part of the story. This is part of the Geulah. This is part of the transformation. This is part of the process. As we experience emotions and thoughts, be real. We no longer need to be out there and dealing with everybody else's trip. We're in our own home with our own trip. And the only people that we have around us are the people that we choose to bring in. The only information that we have is the information that we allow in. Let's make these conversations real. And let's remember these conversations are not the first time that we're having them. These conversations, we've been having them throughout history. They had these conversations in Mitzrayim. The husbands and the wives were crying to each other and sometimes yelling at each other and sometimes hugging each other. They were human beings just like us. But we're going through a transformation, and this transformation process is going to break us out in an incredible way. But it's up to us to really, really become part of this process. And it's up to us, and we need to imagine, like this is Mamash Viktor Frankl. Imagine what it's going to be like at the end of this story as we look back. When we're broken through to the other side and they look back at us and they say, well, what were you doing in your house, before Pesach, before that crazy Pesach when everybody was alone? What were you doing during the coronavirus? What were your feelings? What were your emotions? What were your stories? What were you telling your kids? What were you telling yourself? What was your life like? Was your life were you able to begin to shake the mask? Were you able to begin to have moments of peeking through, moments of Geulah, moments of Shira and Tishbacha, even within the galus? Because that's where we're at right now. And Gewalt, we're mamish in a place where we're mamish having breakthroughs, but then we're mamish falling right back into Vatzia Sha'ali Neka. And that's good. And I know for me, that's mamish what's happening. Moments of breakthrough and moments of Yeush. Moments of Emunah and moments of just like, I can't. What's going to be? Moments of feeling like, Hashem, I want you to just take care of me and I don't want anything bad to happen. And then moments of saying, Hashem, I want to transform. I want to grow my wings. I want to become the next stage of Am Hashem. I want to see the next stage of the world. I want a breakthrough. I bless us all to give each other strength, to be with each other, spend time with each other, whether it's online, to be there when we each need chizuk, but mamashel to be there to pick others up, to give chizuk, to be beacons of light, beacons of hope, beacons of yeshiva das, beacons of taking and being able to be dugma'ot, to be mamash, to stop and just really take the time to be alone with Hashem, take the time to be alone with ourselves, take the time to be part of the story. Chaim.